and looking to close this. Walks that one over. There's the support for Belchinok, who puts up one more, but right now it's all about James. It's all about this AWP.
And that cross man, hit with the double kill. Pressure back as the Deagles.
Or is it?
Maybe this magic.
Aggressive down middle. Straight into the fight. An execution from behind. Oh, no way. Twist with another one. When the baseline drops.
From Frozen, stays active. Sound cues himself, anticipates the swing. It's a must.
On the 1st of July, we start League 2026. 16 teams were in, but here we have only yes, we have problems. Grand finals, you just witnessed a fun and exciting show match. Remain. Glory is there to be claimed. The trophy awaits. PARIVISION with the rebuild. 9Z as one of the favorites for the whole tournament.
PARIVISION 呢，可能是整个比赛最热门的队伍。
And looking at this final, the question I want the answer to. Guangzhou!
Once
there
again,
he
baseline,
is.
Jay.
Sir?
I'm doing very good. XSE, they turned it around considering the shaky group stage we've had.
是的，这两支队每一场比赛打的都比上一场要好啊，尤其是9G 啊，9G 在小组赛也是输了2场的，但是他们的状态呢？
And one thing, we were speaking to Hobbit backstage yesterday. We were saying, okay, you played some insane games, some deep games, some long games. And he says he's getting too old for this. But this is a best of 5. It could get even crazier.
是的，昨天我们在后台和 Hobbit 聊啊 ，Hobbit 觉得这个游戏真的，就是昨天的比赛大家也都看了，就是大家也都清楚是什么情况。然后 Hobbit 昨天就说：“哎呀 ，I'm too old for this， 我真的太老了，打不了这游戏了。”但是今天可是 BO5哦，可能比昨天还要黏。
While XSE on the other side, right? This is the most exciting South American team by far. They continue to be praised. They've made quarterfinals of the recent major, and it seems, and they seem to think, they've got past that barrier.
是的，对于9G 来说呢，他们确实是来自南美洲的一支非常令人兴奋的队伍。他们在过去的2支大赛呢，都是倒在了1/4的决赛，但是这一次XPL 他们在队史第一次进入了总决赛。
Well, I know what everyone wants to see, and that's our teams come to the stage. So please, raise the roof. It's XSE!
.欢迎来自南美XSE。
Max, DGT, Huaso Peak, Mayan, and Lucho. Max, you said me again. Well, you're a fan favorite with the Chinese crowd out here. And rightly so. You've gone on a journey. You guys have been giving a lot of love to the Chinese fans as well. But you're now looking at that trophy. You're in a great position right now. Do you feel like favorites coming into this matchup?
For me, in grand finals, there is no favorites, but we are confident. We trust on ourselves, so we are going for the trophy. Yeah.
刚才本来要采访 Max， 然后 Max 就指了一下自己啊，又是我吗？哎，对了，就是你，因为大家真的特别喜欢你 Max。然后 Max 说呢，这个总决赛，我觉得大家可能是5-5开，实力啊比较平均啊，希望会是一场精彩的比赛啊。
Now you have played some recent matches against PARIVISION, but not this version of them. You have been able to get the wins, even at the recent major against them. So tell me, what is it that is good for you guys playing against a team like PARIVISION? Especially, many teams struggle against them.
Yeah, they are playing really good in this tournament. They made change, and yeah, I think they're playing a little bit different than on the past tournaments. So we need to step up if we wanna win today. Yeah.
是的，就9G 呢和各个版本的 PARIVISION 都交手过，然后战绩还是不错的，感觉呢总是能赢 PARIVISION， 但是其他的队呢就会遇到麻烦。但是 Max 说呢，这个版本的 PARIVISION 还是很厉害的。他们今天如果想赢的呢，每一个人都要站出来。
And tell me this, Max, before you go into the game, what have you said to your team before going into this grand final? What were the words you left with them?
Just enjoy the moment, enjoy this amazing crowd, and yeah, let's have fun.
Max 刚刚跟队友说要相信彼此，要享受当下，然后要享受这个非常 amazing 的观众。
And now on to the other side of things. For PARIVISION, if we remember the beginning of the year, they started off with a trophy that many people didn't expect them to be able to lift. Now they've gone through player changes. Now they've brought in an experienced player alongside a rookie to try and make sure they can lift the trophy again.
是的 ，PARIVISION 在今年年初其实拿到了一个意想不到的冠军啊。然后现在呢，他们也做了人员的调整，他们引入了一个老将，也引入了一位新秀，非常年轻的选手。
So Guangzhou, let's hear it for PARIVISION!
"欢迎来自俄罗斯 PARIVISION!"
James, Sway, Hobbit, Jello, and Slacksages. The team can take their seats. Dastan, you're with us once again. Oh, Zway's going to do it this time. Okay, I didn't get pushed into... Zway, you asked to do the interview?
No, I didn't. No? Dastan didn't want to.
教练不想采访了，来紫薇说两句来。
Zway, talk to me about what you've seen in improvement from this team since you started the event with not having much practice with two new players. What exactly are you noticing that's changed, that's got better to enable you to now be in the grand final?
I think it just refreshed our mind, like player changes, and it refreshed our playstyle also, and I think it started easier for us than like last three championships, I would say. So I think it will continue today.
就我们现在有这个新的阵容呢，我们就是尽量去重置一下我们心态，然后重置一下我们的打法。我觉得我们呢确实还是越打越好的。就我们这次比赛打的比过去几个比赛打的感觉要容易一些。
Now looking at this, right, you guys have had an up and down year. It started off so strong, you've had to go through all of these changes. When you're looking at this now and you're facing 9Z in a final, a team you've struggled against, do you feel confident that this team is ready with a map pool to potentially go 5?
I think so. I think we prepared so much better than towards the previous games, and like we have a lot more potential to win this game than the previous ones against them.
是的，面对经常击败我们的9G，我们觉得我们现在的这个准备战还是很不错的，尤其是我们有可能最后会打出5张图嘛，我觉得我们现在的图池也是 OK 的。
And just tell me, what is it that you think is going to be the difference maker for you to ensure you can get this win and lift the trophy?
If we just keep playing like we played yesterday and versus BG, I think we will win it easily.
我觉得如果我们的状态能像昨天一样，我们今天会轻松取胜。
Let's give it up for PARIVISION and Zway. So now we sit in a situation, Baseline J, where there's no Chinese team in here, there's no direct fan favorite, so we might get a bit of a split crowd. So let me kick things off and see. Guangzhou, who thinks 9Z is going to win today?
是 是的，这个 FaZe 天路都回家了，感觉咱们这个观众席是不是五五开啊？那我们想问问大家，有没有 PARIVISION 的粉丝？ Hey, the trumpet guy is always on our side, yeah.
The trumpet guy is adding that extra oomph to it all, but we need that extra oomph from this whole crowd. Everyone is looking forward to great Counter-Strike, a grand final, a best of 5, where one of these two teams will lift this trophy at the end. So help get them going for me, Baseline Jay.
好的 ，Banks 真的非常需要大家的热情啊！我们已经打到了最后一天的总决赛，来吧 ，Bring it home, James.
Guangzhou, are you ready?
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're certainly ready. It's the grand finals here at the XSE Pro League in China. I'm Anders, with me is Vince, and we're going to take you through this grand final. It's going to be awesome. We got 9C and PARIVISION. It's a brand new day. Everyone is refreshed, everyone is ready, and it's going to be a marathon match, a best of 5. So you know what you're doing for the rest of the day. Vince, how are you doing on this fine morning?
I'm doing great, man. I've been resting my voice after yesterday's marathon of games, but keep in mind both these teams also went through that marathon themselves. So I'm hoping PARIVISION in particular, who finished incredibly late at night, I think it was like 2 a.m. or 2:30 a.m. local time, by the time they were done with their game, have had plenty of time to rest up and come back recuperated. But it's a best of 5, Anders, and one of the most interesting things for me personally is, where's the map pool going to come down? Because obviously you only have the opportunity to ban 2 maps overall, 1 map each. The big question for me is, do 9Z ban Cash or do they ban Anubis? Because Anubis is typically a map they don't play, but we also haven't seen them play Cash yet.
Yeah, it'll be very, very interesting here. I mean, again, also with PARIVISION and their lack of success on Inferno, I don't think they're going to ban it out, but I'm just saying that there's another sort of landmine in the map pool for them. But you're right, like the difference between Cash and Anubis, I guess Nuke is also a map that PARIVISION aren't really playing, so it's a bit weird on their side. But the fact that it's a best of 5 just means you have to moderate your expectations. If you lose a map early on, then you can't get too, frustrated. I think this could be a very interesting day, and I really look forward to the video that's going to be coming up here because, yeah, it'll be fun to see. Overpass obviously out of the mix. Cash is in for this tournament, just in case you only joined us now. Which, if you did, shame on you. But I realize that most of you probably haven't watched the whole way through because I see you spamming mad stuff in the chat. Somebody was telling me right off the bat of the day to not dye my beard to hide the gray hairs. So. That's a great welcome message. I appreciate it. Yeah, you guys have been great fun so far, and we'll try and keep up the same kind of atmosphere and the same attitude throughout this one. It's been really fun doing this remotely, so yeah, with you guys' help, I think we've ended up with actually a really, really fun tournament. Limited, I would say, tech issues for the playoffs as well. So overall, it's just been great here. Before we even get into it, Vince, with the veto, just a gut check. Like, what's your feeling? Who's going to be winning this?
That's really tough, man. I can genuinely see this going all 5 maps. They kind of touched on it a little bit as well. I think Banks asked Max on stage, you've played against PARIVISION, albeit not against the full 5, but the core, and they've gone back and forth on multiple maps here. So I'd probably give the slight favor to PARIVISION purely off the experience that they have. Like, obviously, Jame and Hobbit have been in grand finals before. They've played best of 5 grand finals before. Sure, the rest of the team is very inexperienced, but 9Z for me have looked very kind of, I don't want to say dodgy or iffy or even shaky, but I think that they're still finding their way through on these playoff games. This is still new territory to them. They've not been in a tournament like this, in the grand finals like this. Keep in mind that before they got this quarterfinal win early on in the tournament themselves, they'd lost the last 2 times they went to the playoffs. They lost against Magic at Astana earlier this year in the quarterfinals. Yeah. They'd lost against Furia in the quarterfinals of the major. So I think it would be an incredible achievement if they could take this finals, but this is where I'm looking at Jame and Hobbit to do a lot of the heavy lifting.
Yeah, experience definitely is a big thing. We saw that yesterday in the game against FaZe, where James just kind of powered through and called his way and fragged his way through that last map, which is really incredible. We've got the veto right here in front of you. Nuke is out, Anubis is going to be out. So yeah, not surprising on Nuke, I suppose, and neither on Anubis. So Mirage, Inferno. And again, now it's just about the order. We've got 5 maps in this one, so and the order can make a big difference sometimes here. Like I would say, especially that Inferno pick here could be for 9C like an easy way to pick up an early map. I do expect them to win that one. And then we end on Cash, so we've got the new map that everyone loves right at the end. In terms of the theatrics and the dramatic effect, having Cash as the last map is absolutely epic.
I agree with you, but do we get there? I think there's a good chance. I think it's kind of fortunate for 9Z, though, that they don't have to play earlier on, because even if PARIVISION have had their issues and their struggles on Cash, they're essentially 0-2 after losses to both Big and FaZe in this very event. They've at least had reps. They've at least had some improvements. I mean, we said it ourselves yesterday against FaZe. They look better than they did against Big. Whereas we have no idea what 9Z are going to bring to the table when it comes to Cash, because they simply haven't played it yet. And as I said before, the one kind of curiosity for me, we knew that Nuke was going to be getting banned out. That's just the map that PARIVISION don't play. Like, they're permaban. They haven't played it a single time. That was the answer. Like, would it be Anubis ban? Would it be Cash? We've got our answer, but at least 9Z don't have to play it until the last map of the series. So that for me is like, they've kind of gotten away with it, but not really, if that makes sense.
No, I think it's a reasonable point. I mean, PARIVISION, just a few kind of official games like this where you're really getting tested and you get a chance to improve, and they already improved like a little bit on it on the T side especially. So having a little bit more experience, I think it could go a long way. That's something that we're gonna hopefully get to. I really want to see us land on that final map. So it's going to be much later in the day, of course, but an exciting day of Counter-Strike ahead of us here. Opening up on Mirage as well. That should be super fun. I was checking through the stats. Now, it's not really true for this particular tournament. They haven't obviously had this lineup for a while here. But if you go back the last 3 months, Mirage CT side for Jame is a crazy good map for him. And I really like Jame as an AWPer, so I'm not surprised he's playing well, but I was shocked at how well he's playing. If I look at the stats here, for top in the world right now, AWPing CT side of Mirage in the top 20, the list is something like Wonderful, Jame, then Jaboan, admittedly with fewer rounds, and then Saiwu. You end up with Moon from Magic again, thinking about the opposition there, but still pretty impressive, right? And then you got Molodoi, Sampire, Shiro, and Monacy all the way down at 9. That's in the top 20, by the way, but Jame right behind Wonderful up there, so that could be a really early sort of power move there for the PARIVISION side as well, just having somebody like that. And I mean, the way that he played yesterday on Ancient in that final map against FaZe was truly spectacular. So I want to see more of that, and maybe that'll send them off nicely, PARIVISION, here at the start of the game.
Yes, and I do think Mirage is actually a very important map, not just because it's up first, but because the second map is Inferno, which I believe will be very heavily in favor of 9Z. So if you want to make a case for PARIVISION, maybe like a 3-1 in this series, but Inferno will be a difficult one for them, as we have kicked off live into the grand finals on Mirage.
Oh, hell yes. No kit. Always want to try and look at that in the pistol rounds, just in case that it becomes relevant later on. No real utility either for the CT side. It's all armor and then a set of dualies as well. It'll be Slaxijez tested early on, but the fact that he just spots them and doesn't go down is huge. They are bringing the rest of the troops back towards the A-bomb site and already sending out the early smoke wall. Double smoke, one towards the top of the stairs, one's towards the jungle position. They've left Max in a tough position. Is he going to get any help here? Waso Pete gets the first kill of the grand final, and then Max with the headshot right afterwards. This is looking good. All of a sudden, the defense tight for 9C. Only Jame remains, and it's a 1 versus 3. 9 bullets here. Definitely got to find a space to reload, but I don't know. He could walk away, to be honest, Vince. Again, he is one of the most enigmatic and elusive players in clutches like these, so it's low percentage, but I'm not going to count him out.
Yeah, and he always plays at his own pace, but that pace is going to have to pick up with 22 seconds left. They're going to have a good idea as to this being a possibility. They're going to stick together. I'm amazed no one is looking through Con, and they're going to just get sideswiped by Jame. 13 seconds left, though. He has to go straight to the site. Could be caught off in the process. There's 2 players on either side of him, but still nails the headshot onto DGT. But it's going to be Max that repels him and secures the first round. It was so close, though.
Could you imagine? And you're right, he does play this round at his own pace. I think that's the best way of putting it. How many other players in the world would have been stressed out of their mind, especially when they get that kill and realize, wait a minute, there's still more people on the bomb site. He kept his composure the whole way through. He could have won that fight against Max, but huge kill for Max at the end. If they don't get that, it's actually kind of a devastating start for 9Z, because then you're suddenly losing a 1v3 with, you know, no time on the clock either. He couldn't have planted the bomb there, so that would have been absolutely crushing for them. Nice little turnaround. Sigh of relief, you've got to assume, for the 9Z side. And for PARIVISION, it's not the end of the world. You lose the pistol, that happens all the time, so I don't think they're going to be too annoyed by it. But yeah, good defense overall to begin with. Obviously, Waso Peak getting one of those early kills.
Yeah, and that also, like, it got shaky towards the end, obviously, where James nearly pulls off a 1v3 with sub 10 seconds on the clock, but it will be a world of good to the confidence and just settling some of those nerves as well for 9Z, who are in unfamiliar territory across the 5 of them. And just going back into sort of predictions and where we see this series coming down and all that good stuff. Again, I think Mirage, I agree with you. Obviously, James is a phenomenal talent on this, but I think PARIVISION overall have a pretty solid standing when it comes to Mirage. Their Inferno, they are in a 0% win rate on after 4 maps played. That's 2 losses to 9Z, by the way. Both times they didn't get 10 rounds. They lost to Monty, they lost to Legacy. Sure, that's not with this 5, but the core has always struggled with Inferno. Whereas we already know that 9Z are pretty strong on Inferno themselves. So I just can't see that map going the way of PARIVISION. The rest of them, though, I do think they've got a good chance of winning. So I think this is actually a really important map for 9Z to get at least close in. Even if they lose, just get close, build that confidence up.
Yeah, I think that you're painting, I think, a very, very interesting picture of how this grand final could play itself out, right? So if 9Z can pull through and have a good start on this map and somehow come through with a victory on Mirage, which again, I agree is not a given, but if they do that, they're very likely to also be winning Inferno, which means they'd start the grand final with a 2-0, and even that wouldn't make them that safe, because then we go on to Dust 2 and Ancient. And again, I fully expect that this PARIVISION team, unlike the last one, I think they'll be able to sort of weather the storm. They'll be able to not tilt, and I think they'll be ready to play, you know, the 3rd and 4th map in the grand final. So it could be super, super interesting if it ends up with a sort of reverse for the PARIVISION side. But I guess on the other side of it, right, if PARIVISION win this first Mirage map, then the pressure will be on 9Z, I think, suddenly. I agree, Inferno is very unlikely that I think they're going to be dropping that map 9C. It would be an interesting collapse if they do, but they really shouldn't. Getting back into this one as we quickly fix the tech issues. Appreciate that from the admin team down in China, sorting everything out. And unsurprisingly, with no bomb plant, it's not going to be that much here. There's a P250, if my eyes don't deceive me, on James.
That is correct, yeah. With a smoke alongside it. So a little bit of extra into this round, and typically he would just be obviously fully investing into that AWP and saving as much as possible. But because of those 3 kills in the previous round, the little bits of kill reward do add up. So he is at least offering something. I would kind of like a flash thrown in as well, but I get it. Like he's calculating that AWP fund as close as possible.
Yeah, he probably is. I mean, I feel like in terms of even getting onto the bomb site, a flash going to be more interesting than a smoke. So if I had to choose between one or the other in a round like this one, I would. But let's see what he could do. Not going to be questioning James all that much. Wei gets 1 kill here. It all counts. As we know by now, it all adds up. Hobbit was trying to sneak through the middle, but DGT is going to be able to catch him, and they will start to run on back. For the minute, there's nobody on the B bomb site, which is kind of weird. I don't think it's necessary for Max to be doing this. This almost feels like you're a little bit proactive in hunting for the kills. They've slowed it down, and they kind of have to, because if they keep running, then they will definitely give it away. And in the meantime, it's DGT that has moved over. But he is the one sort of player that's already tagged up. Still very hard to win the round or even get the bomb planted here. But yeah, unfortunately for PARIVISION, they missed the timing by a couple of seconds. I don't think it's their fault, really. Just a consequence of not being able to run in those B hallways. But you can sort of see that they had the right idea, and if they'd got the bomb down with the assistance of the smoke there, it could have been interesting.
Yeah, it's just unlucky timing for PARIVISION, really. DGT had just rotated from the main site over onto the get right spot and was kind of submerged by the pillar. James didn't see it, jumped out, had a smoke, would have probably smoked the site, I'd imagine, to get that bomb plant in, but was never afforded that luxury. However, it is going to be rifles, and deciding to just pull the trigger here and go in for the AK instead couldn't afford the AWP even if they wanted it. And James not really one of those players I've noticed that plays the scout. A lot of AWPers like Jabone yesterday, if he doesn't get the AWP, he goes for the scout instantly. Not the case here for James, but he's gone down early doors. But it's going to be PARIVISION starting to make moves through on ramp. It's going to be very difficult, though. The crossfire is good, and the utility's on point additionally.
Yeah, you're right. They've already taken a lot of damage behind this one. Cello trying to answer back, but they're stuck on top of each other by the Tetris position. Not exactly where you want to be. 3 versus 3. They've somehow kept it alive. They seemed like, I would say, almost a fumbled beginning to the round here for PARIVISION. Because you're right, Jane went down at the beginning. Oh, here comes the swing as well. Luchov, he senses the weakness. Only Slack suggests there's any real help to fight with here. We know he can fight, but not against Max this time. Great spray down for Max on the other side, and any chance of winning the round, I think, is evaporated. They might be low on health here, but for Hobbit, he himself is at 23, and in a 1 versus 3 with the bomb already down on the ramp. This will not be easy. Does have the element of surprise by relocating himself. DGT is up there, making his way towards the market. They must know that the bomb is down, so I don't think they're looking. He's not checking to see if anyone is planting B. He's just making sure that if someone is flanking, they're going to have to go the long way around. But looks to me like Hobbit has decided to save the AK anyway, so don't have to theory craft too much about that any longer. I think when James dies in the middle, I would have loved to have seen the rest of PARIVISION be ready to attack ramp, like already sort of up the ramp, but it felt like he died, and then the whole of the 9C8 defense could sort of refocus on ramp, and they were ready for that fight. And that just seemed like the timing was a bit missed. But that's a neatly placed bomb. Wow.
Finally placed. Keep it nice and tidy. No OCD being triggered today. I do agree with you, though. I mean, I'm a bit surprised and perplexed at James' decision to just rush down middle anyway. I'm pretty sure they didn't have the utility onto Con, short, and window. So even if he doesn't get peed from Con directly, it felt like a freebie kill if anyone just looks at mid. I understand picking up the pace and trying to, you know, take early map control, but it's a bit uncharacteristic from James, and it has been punished in the worst possible way.
Definitely has. Or even results in a bit of an early timeout. Just going back to check, I think they did smoke the window, but you're right, they didn't Molotov connector, so he just gets completely flashed and killed immediately. And the speed with which he does it, I think it's actually kind of cool. Like, again, PARIVISION are a team that's known for being slow, but I would say this in the sort of modern day, something that they actually do well, and I should give them some credit for, is they do change up the pace a bit, and I think this was an attempt in that round. I just don't understand why the rest of the team weren't ready, because I think even if James dies in a way, at least he successfully pulled people into the middle, and that should give more space for the rest of the team, but I don't think they were ready. It's some early details. I guess we'll catch up with that a little bit later on. Saved AK, and a big little brief pause there before we get back into the action. It's also Deagle and a Tech 902 here on the T side, so we could be seeing still a dangerous round here. 9C, like we said, very important to win these early rounds. Mirage is a good map for PARIVISION, so if 9C could steal it away early in the best of 5, that would be great.
Now, I think something that Max said as well in his interview was, I honestly completely agree with him. He said there are no favorites in the finals. Yeah, I love that as a concept. Line. The idea being this is just this is a different ball game. Everything else doesn't really matter. This is just different. It's a different level of pressure, of expectations, and everything else. And so, in some ways, you can throw kind of a wrench in a lot of these stats. Not just because PARIVISION obviously have 2 new players alongside the core. It's going to be Max receiving the oncoming tease. He only gets the 1 kill. Jello does put him down, but there is a second layer of protection, and that's Luchov's AK. He's done a good job of stalling this push. He goes down, though, to the hands of Hobbit, but DGT, and enough time for that rotation. So it does appear that PARIVISION's half-buy will not yield too much. Sway, though, is making it costly.
He's been such a revelation this tournament. It's so cool as he's Sway. Oh, and there's the headshot to take down DGT. Just as we're talking about it, he almost gets shot in the hip there. But he can't get the bomb plant anyway. There's not enough utility here on Wasso Peak to force him into the fight. A little bit of a jiggle there. Got to be careful. You could see the feet under the box, so don't want to be too adventurous. Spray is not good enough, and Sway instead from the back bench will take him down. A massive clutch to get PARIVISION on the board. I did not see that coming.
a monstrous round from Zwain. Neither did I. And you have to take it into account. They came into the round with Deagles, the P250s, and Tech 9s. Like, they were saving for the next one. This was basically a throwaway round. Max only gets one from Apps. Probably not good enough, all things considered. They pick up the weapon from his corpse and then use it in Zwei. But how many times have we said during this event, Anders, that, like, from out of nowhere, Zwei just makes a masterful play and snatches a round away?
Yeah, he has done it many times. Look at his fast play here. We talked about the pacing. They are going for an immediate B-split. They won't slow this one down, and especially not now the Hobbit's got the kills with the smoke in connector. A bit of a crossfire. Where's the rest of the push coming in? Where's the catwalk part of this? They were already activated. I couldn't tell you why PARIVISION have slowed this down. Oh, that seems very strange to me. Hobbit and Cello, they even got the kill towards the middle, so I don't know why they were slowed down. Maybe I missed the detail there, but I think if they push in, then the crossfire that was set up to catch anyone coming out of B, it would have been blown open immediately.
I think it was Huazo peeking connector gave enough presence that they were concerned about being backstabbed on the approach, but I would tend to agree. Once you have opened up the map, once you've opened up the site, you kind of got to press your advantages. I get that PARIVISION are a very careful team, but you can't overdo it. And now you put it into a position where time becomes a factor. Now they're going to go for the stack on B. It may end up backfiring.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it absolutely does. Again, this is where James is such an elusive caller. I would say they failed the rush on that bomb site, but they've somehow still turned it into an absolutely brilliant call here. When 9C end up in a bit of a weird position. Mayan and DGT, both of them down. Oh, Hobbit, that first kill that goes his way. And then I thought there was going to be all over when they pull it back from that. Shui dies jumping into the bomb site, and then Cello and Slaxy just both drop that low. For just a second, I thought they had cancelled the round, but they simply walk onto the A bomb site. What a strange effect. I'm actually a little bit confused about this round.
I think it is because of the low HP and the presence that was still being shown from connector side and also jungle that kind of put them off just a little bit. And it's worked out for them. It wasn't the smoothest ride, but they still trend into getting around themselves. And I find myself once again pointing out that Mayan has had a rough start to this map. 0-4, 20 ADR. And he has had the AWP a couple of times. So that's another factor. Like, we know James is going to be consistent. Even on a bad day, he's still going to be doing a lot of work for PARIVISION. Can Mayan deal with the pressure of the grand finals? Because 9Z will need him today.
Yeah. When he's good, and he really has been in some of these games, it's amazing to watch. But we've definitely also seen him disappear slightly, and you're right, at this point in time, that's not what you want to be seeing. DGT decides he wants to go and investigate. They did blow open the smoke, but nobody was there. It's an early sort of three-way mid-control attempt here for 9C, which I really enjoy, but you can't keep it forever. And PARIVISION, again, normally their default's quite far back, quite slow. So catching them early on in top mid like this is not necessarily easy. They actually will stick around, I see. I kind of like this. It's also kind of risky, but they're pushing up towards top mid even further. So they don't actually fall back, like I said. DGT is there with them as well, but it's Luchov. Easy pickoff on Hobbit. Very well played.
Yeah, it's a huge pick, isn't it? Hobbit's had a lot of impact so far, but Luchov with that FAMAS. Laying it out just shy of a minute on the clock, and now PARIVISION slowly maneuvering their way over onto A. They have the forward position of Slaxy Jazz hiding behind the Smoking Palace. I've mentioned that Main's yet to get off the mark. The same could be said for Slaxy Jazz. A huge talent and prospect for PARIVISION. A young gun. All four of them now making moves, Anders, and there isn't a huge amount of defense, but they are trading over 2 players. The CTs will have 4 players on A soon.
Yeah, because Max is pushing out of the B hallway, so they have the information they need. This should be their round every time. 20 seconds, a 4-man stack at the A bomb site. And Luchov, Wasso peek, and then Mayan to join in, leaving James to just slowly walk away. I know there are going to be James time memes in the chat, but what on earth do you expect him to do in a moment like this? Very interesting, but I think this is a round where if you you had to say anything, this shows that when you lose that map control over in the B hallways, and that's Max taking that risk walking in, suddenly the CTs can make great decisions on the rotations, and that's what we saw here.
Yeah, and again, you could maybe put part of that decision-making into the fact that PARIVISION have been so very slow on their decision-making elements. Like, they've had aggressive rounds, but you go back to the previous one that you were a little bit shook over, where they're taking B, then they pull the plug, they go back to A. If you're 9Z, if you're Max right now, and you're realizing, okay, PARIVISION are really trying to play a lot of mind games, they're playing this one slowly, they're taking every second on their time, then it allows you to go for some more of those plays, like Max pushing and getting that intel, and stacking 4 players on the A side.
Yeah, I mean, it's both one of the more interesting things, and also sometimes it seems to be like a little bit of a curse of the team. Like that slow approach and the ability to do the mid-rounding and late rounding very, very well. It can backfire, but I mean, we've seen many times how powerful it could be. So part of me, I don't really want to talk Jame out of it. I used to complain more about it in the past about, you know, PARIVISION being slow, but I am actually kind of enthralled by how good he is at figuring out things. But yeah, there are going to be rounds like that last one where ultimately they get punished a bit. And I guess for 9C as well, you could give them credit and put it the other way and say the fact that they go and find the map info is so good because it does allow them to do things like this. And that could be them understanding that, yeah, PARIVISION are going to be slow. We're going to need information at some point in the round. And yeah, Max couldn't have found a better time for it. Missed shot there early on from Jame. Not necessarily easy when the nades are landing in your face. Pivotal round here. We've got 4 AKs and an AWP, sometimes called a Royal Flush here on the 9C side. CT side doesn't get any better than this. Yeah, this is really important for PARIVISION. They need to win this round to get those AKs away and to stop the economy for the CTs.
Yeah, this feels like a fulcrum point, really, to kick off the grand finals. And to go back to that point about, you know, PARIVISION sometimes getting a bit predictable, I think it's all about balance. And it's something that Jame has definitely got better at. We saw this yesterday against FaZe, especially on Ancient.
Yeah.
When it got to OT, I feel like he really did up his game individually. And you can make arguments that FaZe were their own worst enemies, and I wouldn't necessarily disagree. It was super late. There's a lot of reasons and excuses, but it did go to both teams. But PARIVISION at some point need to make 9Z respect the idea that they can pick up the pace. And once again, we're down to 25 seconds, and the first kill comes through, but it's towards the CTs. They've got 2 of them, and now it's a 3rd, and things have just gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, they don't have any time. The bomb committed to the ramp already. They wanted to get 3 people out of the palace. But again, 9C are actually proactive. It's not a huge move this time, like Max pushing the B hallways, but they flashed their way into A ramp, which means, again, they're a little bit further forward here. I really enjoy this. I mean, we've already had the conversation about PARIVISION and some of the dangers of playing this slowly. But honestly, I think 9C, they're contributing small things to make sure that it's very, very hard to execute anything in these last rounds. And it has to do with just having a slight bit more information on the CT side and being in a good position there. And they even had, I think, right at the end, not that it really came into play, but I think Waso Peak on that ramp, he even had an incendiary that he went back to pick up. So there was even a chance for him to buy more time if they had needed it. DGT's pushed down below. He's got Mayan in the window behind him, although he is smoked off for the second. He's actually going to jump through. All right, Mayan. Not afraid to check into the underpass here. PARIVISION. At least they save some guns, but they are in a weird position right now.
Oh, Mayan nails Jame, and it was one of the main pieces of firepower they had that goes with him. And it was because of that hyper-aggressive mid-control as well that allowed Mayan to just sit in connector. He wasn't worried about being flashed or mollied out of position when he's got 2 teammates that are pushing up mid. They get the pick they were looking for and back away. It's masterful calling from Max.
Yeah, he's done a very good job. And individually as well, right? He's 6-1 at the moment. Another push to top mid. So they go back to the scene of the crime where they got the first kill on Jame. Hard to read, I think, for PARIVISION. 45 seconds. It's another one of these slow rounds. Oh, and look at DGT. He's going to catch Hobbit there. Hobbit actually was looking for a long time, but he still ended up losing his patience and saying, we've got to do something. And I mean, that's technically true, right? The clock's running against them. Luchov with a good headshots. And again, it's a round where they're going to have to save. I mean, you don't even need our commentary on it. You can see the pattern unfolding right in front of your eyes here. PARIVISION, they're waiting for the opportunity. When it doesn't come, then they don't have, like, there's not much of a plan B here.
So some very early takeaways from the grand finals here, Anders. One, Slaxy Jez and a couple of the younger guns, that Jello as well, look nervous to me. They look a bit jittery. But I will also say that James is not doing him any favors by playing this slow. I think one of the ways that you activate those young, aggressive, mechanically gifted players is you just push. You go for rushes. You allow them to unleash themselves and play in very comfortable positions where they don't have to think so much. They just have to do. This is something Twist's talked about as well going into the semi-finals. Not overthinking things, following through with calls, and letting instinct take over. You can see, like, Jello is clearly very, very uncomfortable. Of course he would be. It's a grand finals. There's so much on the line. But Jane playing this slow is not helping them at all.
Did they call a third timeout? Could that really be the case? Like in the first, what, like 7 or 8 rounds or whatever we're into now? I'm a bit surprised to see that.
Well,
I mean, you got to wonder if that in itself is like an indirect indication of something not being quite right in the team early on.
Yes, and they also understand the importance of winning Mirage, because we've already talked about Inferno's up next. You don't want to quickly be 2-0 down without really having anything to say about it in the grand finals. You're putting way too much pressure on yourself.
The pressure is definitely on here. Oh, they want to boost, but Mayan is already reading it. That's such a good call. Taking down James once again. He was down early in the last round, and it happens again. The bomb is dropped back towards T-spawn, so we know it's going to be, again, a slow round. It's not like they can immediately jump on anything here. No reaction to be followed. Yeah, I mean, I think you bring up an interesting point there about how when you play this very slow, intense style of Counter-Strike, it could be pretty rough on the rookies in a grand final like this one, and especially when it's not immediately working. Nice grenade will soften up Sway and even tag Cello a little bit, and Mayan wants to go back. Smoke is up, and he's not going to move that much forward. I can appreciate that. Probably don't really need to, although he does have a lot of teammates with him. Wait a minute, are they going to go 3 people into connector? Lutrov does go down, but that's on the other side of it here. Cello looking for a kill, but DGT is ready to take over, and we got 45 seconds. Sway has infiltrated the back line. Wait a minute, this could be huge. They could actually win the round based on this, but he doesn't get the shot. He tried to shoot him from a great distance and misses the spray down on Max. He's still barely alive. Now the backup's going to be there. All right, Sway trying to make up for it, and now he's holding this market window. 28 seconds on the clock. They're going to smoke off towards short, and a nade not going to kill him. We'll get the bomb plant here, but DGT is out on the other side, and Slaxy Jez, he couldn't get that kill either, so the retake is on.
Jello has put down the Galil, though. That's going to do the world of good to his confidence. And Mayan can't stand any further around the site. He has to get the hell out of there with his 20 HP. It's a real scrappy round, but PARIVISION gets success. And that's going to help them so much in terms of building confidence.
This is the other side of it, though. If you look at the positions, when they have 3 people in connector, you think that is it. PARIVISION can't make their way through middle. This round is probably toast. I mean, they were trying to sort of go short or catwalk into the B bomb site, but they were absolutely blocked from doing that from that 3-man setup in connector. But then they fall back and they allow Sway to get in behind him. Even if he fails the spray, you could see how devastating it is to the defense here. Like at this moment, I thought maybe they were going to get locked out of the round again, but really great work getting through that murder hole and onto the B bomb site. And obviously even better work following it up there, Cello with the Galil. So 6-3. And again, those late rounds for PARIVISION, I mean, they can fall apart, or they can be really cool.
9Z have been very strong and solid so far, but making a couple of mistakes in the last round has cost them dearly. I was also going to say, there's always 2 sides to every story. Yes, PARIVISION have had their issues, but 9Z have been impressively stoic and calm. But more important, efficient with punishing these mistakes. That's the first time we've seen a bit of a crack in that. You could maybe argue that Zwei clutch, but I honestly think that was just Zwei having fantastic aim. Sometimes you have to tip your hat and say fair enough.
True, yeah. 9C, apart from being calm and stoic. They're also rich, so losing the guns last round, not a big deal. 7,000 as a bank on Mayan is also pretty important here. PARIVISION, I don't know. If they get one more round, to be honest, I'm not going to count them out. I think 4 rounds is enough to still have an interesting sort of second half. But they can do better than that, obviously, especially with Hobbit getting a kill like that through the smoke. DGT might have walked straight into that bullet. I don't think Hobbit actually saw him, but he was testing the smoke at the perfect time. And now they want to recommit. It's going to be a 3-way split onto the A-bomb site. So Palace, Ramp, and Connector. And there are 3 people here. So if each person on the defense wins their own fight, then it can work. But if anyone dies early, it forces the rest of the team to be ready for it. Oh, it's going to be Wasopik. He wins his. Luchov goes down. But now at least Wasopik can recommit to the ramp a bit. We've got 15 seconds on the clock as well. Mayan's going to go down. Wasopik on the long spray. That's the bomb in front of him. 10 seconds left. And Max catches it in the air. James has to run into the flames to pick up the bomb. Rescue that C4. And suddenly there's 1 second left. He gets the bomb planted. And he's got the perfect weapon for the job. And AWP slowly backing off and waiting for Max, who's got no utility to make the move. He's trying to jiggle it out, force the shot, and he will. James bites on that one and is forced to relocate. There is a kit as well, but is this all on James? Can he find the shot? He absolutely can. He is a genius in these clutches. The half-second plant and then the 1v1 clutch at the end. What a captain.
It's a fantastic clutch by James, but man, Max was so passive. He must have known that he absolutely destroyed James' health bar, who had to run through a molotov to pick up the bomb, by the way. Was maybe nervous about a fake and James just holding his ground for those last 3 seconds and taking the shot, but you could have shoulder peeked. You could have been proactive in a way where you're not just rolling the dice and saying, I sure hope you don't plant. And then as soon as you miss the opportunity, you know that James is going to have the perfect read and going to maneuver on a dime. No problems at all.
Just to try to steel Max's position a bit, I wonder if that's a moment where the reason he doesn't try to test the bomb further is because he's up against James. And he knows that there is a world where James fakes the bomb plant and just tries to shoot him in the last second, like with the AWP. So I almost wonder if that's one of those things where the player you're up against influences what kind of a play you're going to be making in return, just because the psychology of that moment. Because you're right, like obviously he could have put some more pressure on to really make it uncomfortable for James. Yeah, but passive enough that James could escape all the way into jungle. That's also true.
Well, Grand Finals first map can certainly excuse if you do retract into your shell, but I do think that you have a lot of fair points there as well. It's easy for us to sit here and say like, oh, why did he peek, or why did he do that or not? He's on the server and we aren't. And Max more often than not makes the correct calls. We've seen a few of them already. However, Jane once again highlighting what you discussed earlier, that he is one of the best AWPers when it comes to Mirage. And we know that his brain is massive when it comes to calling too.
Yeah, and I think genuinely like an underrated clutcher. Sometimes, you know, he does walk away from rounds, but man, when there's no time on the clock, it's so scary to be up against him. Speaking of time, we got a minute here. Shui, dangerous position on the other side. Yeah, DGT. You couldn't really see him from that vantage point. There is a potential for Cello to put some pressure on B if they really want to go for this, but they might do the opposite. The bomb is running away, but they're still keeping some pressure on the A ramp, so very hard to read what PARIVISION are doing. But it does seem like it's going to be a fake for A, and then they'll hope to win this fight. The problem, though, is Mayan is this position. He's just on the lip of that truck. He does miss the shot, and they're trying to get in there now. They know they have to push, but Max is on the other side, so this could be dangerous. Oh, they get him with a grenade. They've actually dunked him out of the round. There is a pass flank coming in from DGT, and Mayan, what a commitment to the fight. He actually takes down James. And I think it might be enough here. The bomb is on the side, sure, but he's alone. His teammate is 1,000,000,000,000 miles away. All on Cello with 12 seconds on the clock, and the flank spray is not perfect. Good enough to get the kill there.
Time slacks, Jez. You have to hold on to that weapon now. You have no money. Last round beckons as well, so he will be holding on to the Galil. It's far from ideal, but as you highlight, they were so far away from each other. I do like that Mayan decided to push through the smoke. Otherwise, you're being very reactive. and just basically waiting for that smoke to fade and hoping and praying that no one puts some bullets down range. It's a common spot to play on that left side of the bench when you throw down the smoke. So he wanted to try and take matters into his own hands. I can respect it. And it is 9Z taking a 7th round.
Well, just a quick comedic relief, as you did have a comment in the chat for somebody saying that it was Brazil IQ in the previous round. Just to say there are no Brazilian players playing here, but I appreciate it, you know. It's a nice try, good try. Swing and a miss. We're gonna go into round number 12, and DGT trying to put some pressure. Hobbit, can he get some help? Can somebody flash him out of this one? He does throw down the smoke, so he's gonna be able to stay alive, but I thought he was maybe gonna be able to flash into a fight instead. Bomb leaning towards B. We do have a couple of people over on that side. DGT once again pretty aggressive in the connector.
DGT, of course, one of the two Uruguayan players, Max being the other one. You have two Argentinians, Main and Luchov, and then Huazo Peak hailing from Chile. So South Americans, but yeah, as you say, not Brazilian. Smoke down. Max now going to be called upon. He hasn't spotted the players moving through. Going to get caught from above, and Jello punishes him.
But the timing, he has no idea that that smoke lands on top of them. So I can't even blame him for missing the timing there, Max. But unfortunate and nice shot, James. This last round could be so critical for PARIVISION. Like I said, I think 4 is good enough. And Slack suggests, finally, he's up to 3 kills. He's been playing this entire half on a single kill. But we know that he is better than that. And Mayon here, very tricky clutch indeed. They already know where he is. I don't know why they're jumping into his field of view. You really don't have to do that. He doesn't get the shot, but that could have been an opportunity to at least make it a 1v2. And all the pressure is on him. No more utility to force anyone out, and I love it. They go and face him. They know that with the AWP, he can't really get 3 people in one shot unless they were silly enough to line up. So 5 rounds at the end of it. You know what? This felt like a very rough start for PARIVISION, but I think a 7-5 scoreline is absolutely fine. So I'm not too worried for them.
Oh, they'll be very happy with this. I mean, this was out of control. It was 6-2. We're discussing about the 3 tactical timeouts that were called for Dastan, that they were way too slow, that we had some shaky and nervy players on the server, and then Jane pulls off that clutch and everything starts to just get a little bit better, a bit brighter. Those dark clouds start to part overhead and they realize, well, look, it's a grand finals, there's a lot of pressure, but there's also so much reward that's available to us. And sometimes you don't have to have a motivational speech, you don't have to rally the troops in terms of any words. Sometimes actions speak far louder, and that's exactly what Jane just did.
Yeah, trusting in the game plan and pulling through. And to be honest, you know, we talked about the rookies on the PARIVISION side and what it feels like being a grand final, best of $5 million tournament. You know, the pressure could be on, but I feel like having a captain like James kind of, you know, force his will into the game and show that the game plan that we made from the start, like this slow start, that kill from Hobbit, we didn't see it the first time, but that's kind of sick. But yeah, forcing the style and having it be good enough to get 5 rounds, I think that's got to be encouraging, and that's got to sort of pull the team together for a little bit more faith in the whole project. Very cool stuff. And again, Slaxy he is a phenomenal player. I know he's going to be able to do more here, but a bit of a slow start for him individually. That surely has to change as we go deeper into the grand final. And I guess just to remind everybody as well, it is a best of 5, so you really can't be tilted on either side early on. Like, you must remember that this is more of a marathon than a sprint, so conserve the energy on every player. There are so many maps to be played here, so yeah, deep breath on all fronts as we go into the second half in a couple of seconds here. Checking with some Chinese memes that I still don't fully understand, but I appreciate. We've got stickers. Let's go. He's fully kitted out with his water bottle. I appreciate it. You know, he's come prepared.
Crowd seems to be loving it as well. I feel like I'm missing something around this. Am I too old?
He's got 9C stickers. No, I'm getting it. He's on their side. He's ready to go. I'm probably missing some really important detail of who this guy is. In that case, I apologize. I am awful at remembering people, but that's just me. It's not nothing to do with this guy. Just in general, it's a character defect of mine. We've got 10 seconds on the clock here, Vince. 5 rounds. Are you satisfied with that for PARIVISION? Can they still win the map?
yes and yes. I think after a shaky start, they have now put themselves in a position where they can do some serious work on their CT side. And I think it goes back to what you said as well. Like, best of 5 it's a long, old game, and you're going to have natural peaks and troughs, ups and downs, and you've just got to try and ride the roller coaster as long as you can. Not get too flustered one way or another. Keep that focus. It's something we know PARIVISION are very good at. We saw it yesterday. There was multiple overtimes on 2 maps, and they came through on both occasions, both on Dust 2 and Ancient, which will both be played as well in this series.
Look at this madness. 2 people defending against 5 over at this bomb site. They don't have any utility to really stop anything either. This could be very tough indeed. Hobbit trying to get something done. It's Slaxyjez only with the 1 kill, but I can't blame him. He was completely surrounded on all fronts. James takes down Mayan, and that 1 kill is huge. The bomb is dropped back there. This if they really wanted to have a better chance here in INC, a really fast bomb plant would have been nice to put the pressure on PARIVISION. Now everyone has rotated over. I almost feel like 9C, if they could slip away, it would be even more interesting, because this is really hard to fight their way out of. Although it gets a little bit better when Max hits that shot. DGT, an all-important fight that he cannot win against Cello. And now it's Luchov all on his own in the back. 1 versus 2 as he gets the first one. Tries with the Glock. He's going to get another headshot, and James around the corner. Is he going to fail another 1v1 here in the pistol? Oh, Luchov crouching in. A quarter kill. And a huge round for 9C.
Oh, just when you thought that maybe the floodgates were about to open and PARIVISION's confidence would ooze to different levels, Luchov in a 1-on-3 saves the day. And even though Slaxyjez had a bit of impact, I thought that was the moment when Jello got both kills in Connector. That's when this round felt like it had just fallen away. But Luchov, the monster, has come through again. 13 frags to his name, 13 on DGT. The big piece is delivering when it truly counts.
A massive impact on the game all of a sudden. You're right, he really can be a monster in every way. And that proves it right there. Wasso Peak will take down Hobbits. They are stacked on the bomb site, but is it going to be enough? C-set 75 as well on Cielo, and James with the scouts. So we do actually get to see it for once, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. Yeah, they walk straight into the stack, but the confidence is at an all-time high here, and mechanically 9C hitting every shot. Nobody even dies on the T side. So maybe a bit disappointing for PARIVISION forcing into this round, or half forcing into this round, and not getting what they wanted.
So I've had it confirmed. That is 9Z's owner, Anders. That's why he's so blinged out with all the stickers and all that good stuff.
That is really awesome. I love it when owners sort of participate in the sport a little bit more and sort of show up. I mean, the most legendary example, in my opinion, is Jason Lake with Complexity Shout at one time. But yeah, it's just a lot of fun when people care about this and it's not just some distant ownership. So that's really great. I'll remember and look forward to that in the future.
To be happy with his team now lead 9-5 in a very important map again. Now, PARIVISION would typically be favored on this, and so far so good in round 15. They've chimed together 2 kills, a lot of damage to Huazo Peak, and will force away the South Americans. The bomb's also in an awkward position at top mid.
What an interesting purchase they had in the last round, that they can still get something done here. I mean, it will be a scout on James, but yeah, they didn't go all in with the purchase. They still had like 17, 1800 and a couple of players there. So really fiddling around with the economy, which I guess PARIVISION is well known for, and it allows them to have an earlier impact here than maybe if they had gone, you know, fully in that previous round. 5 versus 3. Huazo Peak is tagged up, and PARIVISION just need to remain calm. James is actually pushing with the scout over in the B hallway, so the same conversation that we had in the first half, we can revive here again. They're going to be ready for this one. There's only one way that they can sort of thread the needle, I think, 9C, and that's probably to go catwalk onto B. But they won't know that. They have no way of knowing that that's the case. Slaxy just gets the shot on Max, and it's just getting more and more tricky all the time. James is nearly wrapped all the way around the A ramp, so could be a disaster. DGT. Surely James is calling it in. There's the grenade coming out. The bomb is being falled back here as well. It's only 14 seconds, so I think they already made the choice to save. Unfortunately, 9C might be tricky when James is here. He's just hiding. Oh, you just never expect this. He gets the dink, but not the kill. Yeah, and the round is going to expire, but what a great defense from PARIVISION.
You wonder if DGT's spidey sense kicked in when he heard the crowd. He was like, hold on a
Could
second.
be, yeah.
Wait a minute.
That's happened a couple of times, and like you said, it can be a bit frustrating at times. It does kind of suck a little bit when it impacts the game. But as a player, I think also if you start listening to the crowd way too much, that could be a bad move as well. So we'll see how this plays out over time. I don't think it's been too bad as of yet. Did they double smoke the window, or am I just making that up? I feel like I saw 2 smokes landing, but maybe I'm crazy. Nice grenade, and Max has gone down. Luchov is next in line. So a couple of kills early on for PARIVISION.
Identical start to last round, just a little bit quicker, and this time 9Z though going to try and make the most of it as they burst out of A. Big entry from Huazopeak. DGT also dealing in death, but Hobbit on the staircase is going to keep this round in favor of PARIVISION. Denying the bomb plant is Jane, and now DGT against the world can't do much as he's encircled by CTs. I thought as soon as Huazopeak and DGT both got in the thick of it, this round could have easily gone the way of 9Z, but credit to PARIVISION for holding on.
Yeah, they need these early rounds. Losing the pistol on the second half and already being a bit behind, you do need to put something more together here. Still a very open match on the map of Mirage. Money not looking great. DGT has an AK. So a little bit of a hero by Deagle as well on Luchov. He wanted to. He's not far off, I think, hitting that headshot, but close doesn't really count in Counter-Strike. Luchov, that's how you get the job done. Trades it back, and the AK is somewhere in there. I don't know if the HE blew it away, but okay, all the way back there, so blew it to the wrong side.
Still in the fight though, 9Z, surprisingly, considering the early confrontations. And they are moving across over onto B. They could still go into underpass, which is what they're starting to do now, traipsing the bomb down there. Jello in a very good spot, though, to deal with this, especially if they try and boost into window, which is a possibility. Oh, but he thinks better of that. Backs off. Now, they're not going into window, so he's not missed his opportunity just yet. But as long as he survives, it does allow them to play the spot of Hobbit. The downside here, though, is he's been spotted, and he also gets tagged down pretty heavy, and the grenade misses.
It would have been beautiful if he could have landed that nade. Wait a minute. Huazopeak from nowhere has picked up the headshot, and now Hobbit's feeling the pressure. He's alone on the bomb site. Still got 35 seconds here. He's so isolated. Cello's trying to get there to help out, and he will by taking out Luchov. A headshot on Huazopeak. Cello's really trying to save Hobbit in this moment, and it's actually resulted in them being so slowed down that they can't focus on the A-bomb side anymore. Man, 9Z, there was a clear path to crushing Hobbit. Again, they don't know that he's alone back here. They don't have all the information, but you could sense that there was a moment there where the round could have got out of control of PARIVISION. But fantastic work from Cello getting those 2 kills and helping out his teammate.
Man, there was a moment where Hobbit looked dead in the eyes of a player on con and then turned around anyway. And I actually let out like an audible gasp, like, oh no, it's going to happen. I think, honestly, if either of those 2 remaining players of Max or Mayan have a P250 or a Tech 9, that round gets really, really sketchy because Jello took about 5 headshots, but it was all from Glocks. Now, it's understandable why. It's an eco. They didn't have enough money. They were below $2,000. But I'm just saying, that was hanging by an incredibly thin margin.
It was a little bit too close for my taste, given how the round started. A little bit of a break in the action as we get into it again. PARIVISION. Some of these rounds are close to not working out for them, but they are still running it back. Single round separating these 2 teams here. 8-9 is the scoreline. MP9 on Hobbit still going to hold on to that, which is kind of interesting. See if that'll force him to be a bit more aggressive if he wants to do something more. In theory, James could have dropped M4 or something to him, but I guess it's fine. Like, it's a powerful weapon when you're playing at close range, and he definitely is right now. Oh, yeah.
That's not good, Nate. That's not a good nade at all from Hazu Peak. I understand it's an awkward one, but does he get punished off that basis? Smoke is replenished. Reimbursed to allow Hobbit to hold this angle. I've got the pick on to Slaxy Jez, and he's not had too much to say in this game so far.
You know, we need more out of him. Hobbit shoulders in there. They're already a man down, but they are stacked towards the bomb site. Hobbit, though, fighting alone is a bit of a sad look, because that means the other two people who were right there in CT spawn the whole time, they can't really help each other out, or they can't help Hobbit out. Almost wish that they would have played a little bit further back so the double position there in CT spawn could have been more efficient. Bomb will be planted, though. 9C going to pick up a 10th round. I think we all know PARIVISION have a love for saving in these rounds, and I don't disagree with them. I think it's the right move.
I mean, honestly, not saving here would be madness. You still have enough economy to buy another extra couple of rounds, especially when you consider that they have an AK they want to hold on to. Jane with his AWP, of course. I mean, this is the most understandable save that you'll see. Zwei has taken down Luchov, who was on the lurk, was trying to deny some of these weapons. So 10-8 the score. I do agree with you, though. I think it was a weird, disjointed kind of defense. They were banking so heavily on that smoke on ramp, saving them. And the problem is that you don't have any control over Palace, and you can easily just push the smoke.
Yeah, no, that's true. I was going to say, the thing is, it doesn't really matter how reasonable the save is. The Jame time memes will always come through.
Oh,
like, you know, like Jame could be saving for, you know, vital heart medication to survive, and people will still say, "Oh, he's saving money." Like, yeah, right, you're right, guys. He is. Like, that meme will never die. Somehow it'll stay alive forever. Smoke in the window, Molotov below, and the smoke at top mid. So all of the regular type utility that we're used to seeing. Nothing special about that. I do think 9C are one of the few teams that will sometimes try and go for... You can synchronize HE so that you blow open both the top mid smoke and the window smoke at the same time. And I think 9C is a team that have done that every once. It's very rare, so don't expect it to happen too much. But it is a really cool way for the CTs to try and fight that top mid position.
Oh, was a P. That's cost him a lot of HP because of that sound cue. Slaxy just heard that attempted jump up. That's why he tossed the nade in.
Yeah, you're right. Small detail there with the audio, but I do love it. And getting dropped low means you're way more easily taken down by the M4s. Zwei on the secondary AWP. That has been efficient in the past, so I'm not going to be against it. 40 seconds on the clock. The bomb is making its way up towards that catwalk position. Zwei easily getting rid of Luchov, but he does need a bit of help. He's got a smoke set up by a teammate to try and get it. Mayan goes down. Zwei, he's such a great player in so many ways, but the fact that he could do the secondary AWPing is definitely a huge benefit to the team. Waso Peak wants to get the team back, but it's only 20 seconds and they go back on the bomb. Oh, Cello, he was right there in front of the bomb, and Jame catches Waso Peak in the middle, though, and that is the end of the round. Only 13 seconds. He can't win it any longer. That is an unfortunate position, I would say, to lose the bomb in.
Impeccable, pristine aim from Zwei, though, especially that second shot. And we saw this on Cash as well. When they did occupy two AWPs, he had a lot of impact on it, and over on the B side, on CT side. This first one's pretty straightforward. The second one, though, that's a beautiful flick to the head of Mayan. It's not an easy one to land at all.
Yeah, good to see Waso Peak is just thinking about the bomb. Who could blame him? They had very low time. 9-10. How many overtimes did we have yesterday in total? I think we had like 3 or something in the second and maybe 2 in the first. I think we had like 4 or 5 overtimes across the 2 semifinals yesterday. But in a best-of-5 grand final, if you add overtime to the mix, it becomes a whole different calculation. So we could get there. This is going to be a faster round. 9C, they want to change the pace and see if they can catch PARIVISION off guard. But everyone is here. 3 towards jungle, 2 towards CT spawn. And the bomb is not yet planted here. 9C, can you find the space for it? The smokes are going to dissipate soon. They're planting the bomb while they're pushing through. Looking to take the fight straight to Hobbit. And even if he gets a double here, Max takes him down. And now it's a 3-on-3 in the afterplant.
They also have very little utility. You've got a flashbang, you have a AWP. Mobility is a problem. And Jello who's been really on point throughout this series. The top fragger by a margin for PARIVISION is the first to fall, and that probably will be half a mind to already save, but SlaxyJez is already fully committed to this, pushing up close, getting tagged in the back. Down he goes to DGT. And so they've hemorrhaged a bunch of cash off that basis. Sure, Jame will be able to save and drop some weapons across, but PARIVISION 11-9 down on their choice of map to kick off the grand finals.
Huge round. And an interesting moment, I would say. You got all the smokes up, and you don't rush for the immediate bomb plant. And I'm not saying that as a bit of criticism for 9C, but in a way, it's actually very impressive because you feel like sometimes you're under the gun to just do it right away, like plant the bomb right now. And sometimes, the CTs are going to be ready. They'll blow open the smoke, and then you just die trying to plant the bomb. But it's also nerve-wracking to be on the bomb site and just kind of wait, and you feel like any moment now, like we could be out of time. But they held their cool the whole way through. They pushed in towards Hobbit and ultimately took him down. I do enjoy that. 11-9. Jame in a forward position. Could easily get flashed off, of course, but the other fight is DGT versus Hobbit here. FAMAS versus AK. And it's DGT coming out with a big lead there. Instant headshot. Jame, jiggle peek. Wait a minute, he ran into the Molotov. That is not what you want to be seeing. Hopefully that won't cost them the round. Rotation has already happened. Again, it's a very similar setup as to the last round. Sway playing towards CT, spawn 3 in the jungle. The bomb planted early, but they have taken massive amounts of damage on the C side. Luchov will answer back with a headshot to Cello, and SlaxyJez told a lot about him. He could only get the 1 kill of the round here. Luchov is once again unleashed onto the bomb site. He had a sick clutch in the pistol and a quad kill to start 9C on the second half. And now it's a triple. 18 kills as he gets his team to 12 rounds.
And look at the money for PARIVISION. Even if Sway can hold on to this M4, they're going to have such a little amount to play with alongside him. I think that DGT kill, I'm pretty sure he got peppered through the smoke from SlaxyJez.
Yeah,
hopefully we'll get a chance to see that again.
Somebody tagged Summit right away. Like, that is an ancient meme, but that was a legitimate 1G moment.
Let's see. We moved out to Palace. I guess we won't get a chance to see it, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he got tagged up through the smoke when he was pushing up Palace and got like 1 tick of damage from the Molotov. He won't care, though. His team are 12-9 in the lead, with Inferno up next. PARIVISION on the brink of real problems.
Wasso peak. It's a long fight, but it does take down Cello. And I agree with you. I don't think DDG is going to care. If he does this again, we'll call him 1GT. Not cooking. Oh, yeah. Fire this guy already. 5 versus 3. I don't blame PARIVISION for this aggression. I don't know what they're supposed to do. They don't have a lot to work with. Somehow they must manufacture a round out of nothing. And now a 3 versus 5. SMGs and a FAMAS. Sway, he's Molotoved off here. When it's gone, I wouldn't be surprised if he pushes. They're pushing the A ramp on the other side, but yeah, this might be all down to Sway. He has to almost get a triple kill to make this round viable, and they're waiting for him. Again, I think the urge to push is so strong, and I don't really blame him, but now there are 0 defenders on the B bomb site.
No, I'm alongside you. You kind of had to make something happen. If nothing else, to get intel to allow those 2 players, Jame and SlaxyJez, who are rotating through ramp, to have more of an understanding of where they needed to move into. But now SlaxyJez made a lot of noise. Luchov 100% heard that, and if not, now he's seen him. Doesn't have to do anything here. He knows the bomb is down. He's in a relatively safe spot. It's a really hard one to deal with. So he's going to get wide swung into SlaxyJez. And Luchov, he will die. Surprisingly, SlaxyJez comes out ahead of that one and does give PARIVISION a small chance.
A vanishingly small chance here. There's no kit in play in the round. So 10-second defuse. They really can't be slow walking this. I feel like already you have to run and gun here. You're going to run out of time. Otherwise, SlaxyJez goes down. Jame, it can't be done. 9C with the opening map in their favor. Mirage, that is a huge scout to take early on here. Of course, it's a best-of-5 grand final, but we know that Inferno is the second map coming up, and they're very, very good on it. So PARIVISION, they did look a bit shaky at times on the first half there, running out of time. Even though they got 5 rounds, there were some moments where I had some questions, to be honest. And in the end, they couldn't get it across the line here. Great play individually for Luchov and DGT. I think DGT ends at 21 kills, Luchov at 18. That is huge.
Bars with Pico 16 as well with 7 assists, had a lot of impact, and yeah, it was a real collective effort, a collaborative effort. Mayan didn't have his greatest map, but wasn't really needed. And it's not just the fact that 9Z are good on Inferno, it's that PARIVISION are not good on Inferno. At least with the main 3 core, they played it 4 times, they have a 0% win rate, and 2 of those losses were to 9Z. That's the reason why I've been building up the importance of Mirage, and the fact that they have lost it, it's terrifying now for PARIVISION. How do you bounce back?
Well, they are going to have to find an answer to that sooner rather than later. Inferno is coming up as our second map here, the grand final, the XSE Pro League, so do not miss out. We will be back after the break. Stay tuned.
送出 James 的中国签名版鼠标垫啊，这是 James 和这个虎符电竞一同研制的啊。
We've got another chance for you guys in the crowd on this beautiful Grand Finals day to win the Heavy Claw mousepad. We'll be doing it between every single map. As you guys should already know by now, this is a professional mousepad. We've got a 6mm version and a 4mm version. And if you're here in China yourselves, there is one that is just a China exclusive. And it's this beautiful design you've got on front of here. A lot of pro players using it as well.
是的，这个呢是中国独家版啊，然后其实也有很多职业选手在用啊，比如 Vitality 的 Mazzy 啊，他们有这6毫米还有4毫米的版本啊。
All right, let's pick out our first person. I see this little man here. Hello. You need to cut. Can you come forward? Can you move
来
forward?
往前一点，往前一点。
Come.
Yeah, I saw this one yesterday, but you were
this
signing.
is a cool.
This
Let's have a
is
look at
pretty
this.
interesting. Yeah.
Look.
来，给镜头看一下，给镜头看一下。
And James in his rightful position. That makes a lot of sense.
是的 ，James 的这个位置没什么问题啊，就该他在这儿是吧？
So you got a G2 jersey on. You've got James in front like this. Who are you cheering for today?
那你今天是给谁加油的？
9Z。
他穿着 G2的衣服，然后这个图中间是 James， 但是他是给9Z 加油的啊。
How long have you played and watched Counter-Strike for?
打 CS 或者看 CS 多久了？
3 years。
3 years. How old are you?
10 years old.
10 years old, playing for 3 years already. Okay, you got a good parents around you. Who showed you Counter-Strike? Was it mom, dad, brother?
Dad.
Dad, where are you? Over there. Awesome. All right. Okay, so you're cheering for 9Z. Who is your favorite player on 9Z? Can you name
在
one?
9Z 最喜欢哪位选手呢？
DGT。
DGT! Brother, there you go. This is a present for you. Keep grinding. Good English as well. This is very nice. All right, let's pick out someone else.
来，我看到了很变态的东西。来，这个 Mr. Mrs. Smith， 来这个。
Oh, okay, okay. I see, I
Bro,
see.
I see something, bro. Listen.
Oh my God.
来展示一下。
Show it here.
All right. And for those of you who are too young for this, this is actually a parody of a movie starring Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. So, 怎么有这么多呀 ？What the hell, man? Bro, he's got everything. He came prepared.
Okay, okay. You got a Na'Vi jersey on right now. How long have you been a Na'Vi fan?
Since 2024.
2024年就是 Na'Vi 的粉丝了啊。
Okay, so you said you've been a fan since 2024. Was it after? Okay, wonderful. Okay, okay. Wonderful's your favorite player?
Yes.
Why Wonderful?
Because he's next simple.
Oh, wonderful！ 这下一个 simple 有感觉了吗？
Okay, so answer me this question. What team did Wonderful play for before Na'Vi?
Spirit.
Was this not Academy? There was a one arts, he went Spirit and he went somewhere else, also beginning with S.
也是 S 开头的。
Someone said it. They're helping you. Say what other people are saying. Bro, they're really helping you. They're literally saying it. Say the same as they said.
Bro.
There we go. We got there. That was the worst attempt at trying to win a prize ever, but I'm feeling nice, and you got a Na'Vi jersey on as well. We got some more to give away. How much time we got left in here? Let's go a bit further down. Save it. Now is James time. In China, you guys have the craziest pictures and memes going on here, man. All right, who are you cheering for today?
Max.
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 Okay, why Max?
Because I think he's playing very nice. Yeah.
Okay, so how long have you been following Counter-Strike for? 5 years. Oh, what was the first tournament you watched?
Hong Kong Blast.
Hong Kong Blast. Okay, that was only last year. What is your level? How good are you at playing Counter-Strike?
什么段位的？
Perfect World B+.
哦，完美 B 加的啊。
Is that good?
It's
Yeah.
decent.
Okay,
It's
okay,
decent.
that's good. All right, so tell me this then. What team did James win a major with?
啊，James 在什么队赢了 Major 呢？
I'm the Falcon fans.
啊，
Outsider.
Correct. No, bro, the crowd is helping you so much. Everyone's real lucky with this. Let's go and grab someone from down. Oh, okay, wait. This guy's got. Come on up. Yeah, you can definitely come. Last one. Oh, bro. That's me. Yeah, that's a lot. This is the least flattering picture you could ever put up of me.
你找都给他找好了呀。
Very strong, very strong. Thank you very much. Yeah.
You see, it's Kerrigan, Ray, Nico, Test, and Kenyas. 这是我们那个插队的老大哥。Yeah, Monty and Ten Lu.
Tai Lu, hell yeah. All right, what team is your favorite team?
Falcons.
Falcons. Tell me this, right? Who is on Falcons right now the longest standing member of the team?
现在谁在猎鹰待的最久的队员是谁？
Tess is on fire! Tess is on fire!
I actually can't remember if it was Tessus or Nico first. Now I'm confused. It was Tessus first, right?
是 Tessus 先来的还是 Nico 先来的？
I asked the question I didn't really know the answer to as well, but I'll give it to you because you said Tessus, and you can just have that anyway. Have a great time. Enjoy yourself out here. We've got plenty more chances for this. Next time I'll prepare some better questions with it all. But Guangzhou! I don't even need to do anything. Hey, trumpet man's there. Oh, you gonna hype?
Let's make some noise for Guangzhou!
Woo!
Hell yeah. Thank you, bro. Let's go.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. We're ready with the second map of the Grand Finals here at the XSE Pro League in China, and we've got PARIVISION up against 9C. The first map's already over and done with. That was on Mirage, and it was 9C walking away with a victory, and that's probably very important. Vince, we got Inferno coming up next. Not necessarily everyone's favorite map, but 9C are pretty good at it, and like you pointed out towards the end of the last map, not necessarily the same is true for PARIVISION.
Yes. It's a small sample size, to be fair. They've only played it 4 times, and it's also without this core of 5 now. The core of the trio before Slaxy, Jez, and Hobbit was still there, of course. And they've also lost twice against 9Z directly. So, yeah, it doesn't bode well, I would have to say, in terms of the context of a second map of the Grand Finals. I will also just throw in the mix as well, and we can obviously discuss this a bit later. The next map's Dust 2, which PARIVISION are good on, but I would like to remind you, 9Z beat Vitality on this map at the Cologne Major, and they lost to a really insanely powerful Spirit 16-14 in OT on Dust 2. So I'm not getting too carried away, and I'm not trying not to look too far in the future. All I'm saying is it's looking pretty dicey for PARIVISION as it stands right now.
Well, I think that's really important context. Again, we don't know what's going to happen in the future. If we did, we'd be a lot richer, all of us. But
oh yes.
But yeah. But certainly, I think it's an interesting framing, right? Like I'm low-key hoping for a PARIVISION that shows up to Inferno and just plays, 10 times better than we expect, because that would be really fun, right? Like we're not saying PARIVISION could never win Inferno. We're just saying that so far there's been some problems on this map, and 9C haven't seemed to have the same ones, but you never really know. It's a new day, it's a new map, and it is a grand final. So once again, welcome back everybody. PARIVISION going to be starting on the CT side and 9C on the T side, and I'm seeing some utility but not a lot. And look at the second mid here. I've said this over and over again. This short push, I would almost guarantee you that's what they're doing here. Smoke and flashes as well on Max, so actually it might be the waterfall out of the apartment instead into pit. But they do love attacking the short side 9C. It is it is the most used strat they have. And oh, God! Sway gets caught in the air. What a shot! And Jame now sensing the pressure. The smoke is down towards Library. They've taken out Jame. Is perfectly executed from 9C. This is one of their all-time strats.
Yeah, we said this yesterday as well, right? When they played against Alliance. And they didn't use it as often against Alliance, even in rifle rounds.
They didn't. Yeah.
So it is another thing to also mention is like it's an old faithful, but they didn't rely on it too heavily. And additionally, on top of that, and maybe I'm overthinking this a little bit, but when you consider how late PARIVISION ended their match, how much anti-stratting realistically could they have done in that time against 9Z?
Well, you gotta think that even before the tournament or during the tournament, they would have had a chance to take a look. I want to believe that for sure, but I do think in terms of what have you been doing in the last week versus the last month versus 3 months ago? I do think one of the big jobs for a top-level team is trying to make sure that there's not a completely clear pattern. So, if you did a lot of, let's say, A short rushes in the last week, then switching it up when you get to the grand final makes a lot of sense. And maybe you go back and you say, well, what were we doing 3 months ago? And you sort of hope that PARIVISION didn't dig deep enough to see the pattern and recognize, oh, it's the 9C from 3 months ago. This is a very, very hard level of Counter-Strike, in my opinion, to follow, and it's also kind of hard to show exactly how it works, but for sure, this is the kind of metagame that happens a lot between the teams, where you try to cycle through different things, so that you're not just all the time displaying the same stuff. And yeah, I think 9C, like you pointed out, against Alliance, they definitely were playing a different brand of Inferno. This time, a little bit back to something that they like doing. And now they're going to be testing out Banana, and their real job here is to dodge the 5.7s. I don't know what it is with 5.7s and Inferno. I do know it's the close range, but they're still pretty powerful.
Yeah, I think it's the close range, and it's how many different crossfires you can set up behind smokes and behind flashes. It really is so very powerful on a map like Inferno. Molotov down. Was Jello? I swear we just switched to Jello cam, and he's like got his head was resting on his fist. He's just not using his mouse.
Still need to.
Am I tripping? Am I mental?
No. Well, you are, but I still think you could be right. So
not for that reason, right? Yeah.
Oh, smoke is down again. They re-smoke it. This is a bit of a disaster. If they wait now, there's only going to be 20 seconds left on the clock. They run right through Hobbits. There's the one. Deagle on Cello. He's not resting any longer. 2 kills and 30 seconds. Can he get one more headshot now? The backup is starting to get there, but they power their way through. The DT with the superior firepower on the AK. He's taken down 2, and he's very low on health here. The bomb is getting planted, but nearly taken down as Mayan. Random bullets making their way through the smoke and almost piercing him. Sway and Jame left. A winnable round here for PARIVISION, and it would be huge for the momentum if they could turn it around. Coming through at the perfect time as DGT was trying to elevate himself on top of the box. And Mayan alone. They do not have a kit, but that doesn't matter. There's plenty of time in the round. And Jame, he's checked it perfectly. A brilliant round from PARIVISION. 9C hoping to call the bluff. When that smoke goes down, they're trusting that there may be only one person, which is not uncommon, but in fact it was 3.
Hey man, you asked for it. You said you hope that PARIVISION will come through into Inferno and play to a way higher standard than we're expecting. Well, that's one hell of a way to announce your arrival. Winning this, even with DGT popping off with a couple. And I do also want to just put into context, yes, it looks bad for PARIVISION now in terms of their stats. Keep in mind, Yes, it was with a different team. Obviously, that needs to be put into place. But Jame, when he played with VP, Inferno was one of their best maps. So in terms of his calling, in terms of his impact with warping, we know he individually can get it done here at least.
I like that you bring that up. I think those are the kind of things that, you know, if you dive a little bit deeper, and if you wanted to find a way to believe that PARIVISION could do this, it is important to think about the sort of past of an IGL like Jame and knowing that they could do stuff. I guess the only thing is, have they had enough practice or enough success to feel comfortable? But winning an early round like this one is obviously important. We're going to have 2 AKs even stolen over to the other side. Hobbit is there with the SMG, but again, I think that's totally fine. Trying to make their way through. Cello gets a shot, but Hobbit failing the spray. I actually am a little bit disappointed in that. I think that should have been at least stay alive, or at least just tag them up, but committing that hard to the fight and then not getting the kill doesn't feel quite right. They do have kits this time and a lot of utility on PARIVISION, but this is one of those rounds that is very losable if you're on the CT side.
Right, Nate's missed. It was supposed to go into a pool, it bounced off, and it would have absolutely wrecked 2 players. I will highlight that 9Z wasted the Molotov by tossing it into the smoke, how they could use it right now. But it's going to be Max that runs and guns with a Tech 9 and claims 2 victims. Slaxy Jessen's way go down to his hand, and now Jame is the next to fall, leaving Jello on a measly 23 HP with nothing to be done as DGT swings in. But I go back to that HG, Anders. If that lands in pool, it would have done a minimum 50 damage to each player, and it could have completely changed the outcome.
Yeah, no, you are dead on. Oh, you could see it bouncing kind of off the side right now with the steps instead. Also, big brain on Max. For the first kill, it's great. He gets that shot on Saxijez, but then pushing forward and taking down Shui in this corner, that is massive. It completely shuts down the wraparound from the coffins here. Yeah, the frustration is showing. PARIVISION, they fought hard to get the second round, and then they immediately drop everything on the floor. Not what you want to be seeing. Back to USPs. Oh, that looked like it was going to be a great meal for them on PARIVISION's side there, but sandwiches on the floor, Vince. There's no 5-second rule here, you know. Can't just pick them up and keep you. I don't know where I'm going with this, but stack at the A-bomb side.
Yeah, the good old stack. Nothing to really play with PARIVISION. I do agree, though, man. Like, you really have shot yourself in the foot on that one. It's almost the worst-case scenario. You start economy in, you reset your round loss bonus. You'd have a Zeus in play as well. It's not going to get utilized anytime soon. And then you immediately lose. Now, I think they're going to be able to afford an AWP from Jello. And again, we know Jame, he will always prioritize an AWP if he can get his hands on one. But it does mean that I'm expecting and anticipating a severe lack of utility and maybe no kits going into the next round.
The lack of utility is kind of disastrous on Inferno. I mean, it is a map that is, I think, primarily known for CT side utility. The retake grenades atop Banana, making sure you can throw the right incendiary for the retakes as well. I mean, they're hard to do already, but if you don't have utility, it's even harder. Okay, the bomb, claim 1, assisted by some nice USP bullets. I don't know. No, there's nothing I think PARIVISION could have done in this round, so not really worth talking about. But it will be a 3-1 scoreline here. And let's see how PARIVISION do if they can manufacture something. Again, this is a map that we already expect them to have a bit of a hard time on, and the fact that they fail after winning the second round, I just feel like it's gonna take some of the wind out of their sails.
They do go for the AWP drop. It means Jello's got a smoke. Typically, one of those players you're looking at to have impact, and MP9 for Hobbit, that's allowing him to have a kit at least. There's not much in terms of the utility front, is there? And they've already expended a fair chunk of it early doors. Look at DGT, how aggressive he is into balcony straight away.
Yeah, and Lutrop as well at top Banana. He pushed through the smoke there, so on all fronts, 9C are trying to be a step ahead and catch PARIVISION off guard. And I don't know if that's a sign of the confidence or if it's part of the game plan coming into this, saying, let's just see if we can run them down. Jame with the AWP, in all-in position. You miss a shot here, you're going to die 100% of the time. And the boost up on the other side, this actually could be devastating. Oh, but he's so smart. Maximum awareness out of Jame. I did not think he was going to be able to peek that. Oh, this is... They need this, though. I mean, he tried his very best on the opening map as well. He's been one of the core features of this team, and that kill could really make a difference.
There is the answer to my question, Anders. They have 100% been doing their homework, even on the late hour shifts. Because one thing to do the homework before the event starts, it's another to keep up to date with it. And keep in mind, it's 90 that have used that boost time after time against Alliance. Really awkward spray from Luchov. Should have been getting that kill.
Yeah, Hobbit, man, I've been enjoying him coming into this team, but I feel like in the grand final so far, I've seen a number of times where I'm really not sure what he's up to. And in that same position, again, like he should have been dead 10 out of 10 times there. He will be now with a grenade a little bit late, but at least they're on the site, and James on the flank is dead. Kind of a disaster, because that means they can't recover the AWP either. I'm not sure they can recover the round. They do not have a smoke, but there is a kit on Cello. Still plenty of time on that bomb. But DGT out here, he's taking over the AWP duties. Russell Peak will get a headshot, and good double spray from Cello. But again, the problem is there's a third man out here, and DGT, wide swing, full confidence, will take him down. High fives on the side of 9C as they pick up what could have been a tricky round there. But yeah, I'm just not sure about Hobbit's play in that CT spawn position. I feel like he looks uncomfortable.
Luchov is going to have a wry smile on his face because he knows he kind of dropped the ball there massively. He had a real fumble. I agree. Like, Hobbit just seems completely uncomfortable. He's typically a player, when I think of Hobbit on Inferno in his glory days, he was so good when he played pool on T side or CT side. It was just an area he always had so much success with. But right now, he just seems like he's kind of lost at sea. I don't know if it's lack of communication between him and the rest of the team or what, but man, this has been a really horrible start to the half. Like, you had that moment of belief kicked in the second round when they win with the 5-7s, and since then it's just been a disaster class. It's just everything's gone wrong.
They don't have a lot of time to fix those kind of issues, and unfortunately, when they happen in rounds like these where, you know, you finally have a buy to put together, you immediately go back to pistols and smokes. Again, we've discussed this previously on Inferno, but the whole point here is to try and slow things down enough that you force the T's to make a mistake when there's only, let's say, 30, 35 seconds left. A smoke's always going to be valuable on the CT side, but I think a good way to think about it is that the value of a smoke on the CT side increases the less time there is in the round. So, yeah, at a minute, smoke's pretty fun, but with 20 seconds left, a smoke could absolutely murder the round for the T side. So let's see if they can successfully keep some of them alive towards the end.
Yeah, which is a completely spot-on take on it, I would say, Anders, and why in that previous round and when they focused getting the AWP early on, and I was discussing like it's going to be a lack of utility. It's going to be, you know, a really rough ask for them to hold on. And then they kind of just used their utility in the first 20, 30 seconds of the round afterwards. So you have nothing left at the end. Hobbit may be able to get a pick for the 5-7 here. Shuts down the first player, but it's a one and done, and that's all he could have really hoped for.
And again, speaking of the timing, right? They did put down a smoke, but there was 40 seconds still left, or maybe more when that smoke went down, and Hobbit is alone. So not necessarily successfully kind of manipulating the time, but you could also look on the other side of that and say 9C, they know these rounds exist, so they probably do try and push it a little bit earlier than you would. Again, the risk is that if you just wait out every smoke, if 9C stopped at Banana and said, okay, let's wait this one out, there could be another one on the other side. And there wasn't this time, but if there was, then 9C did do the right move in pushing through. So I think it's also just awareness from 9C that even though you know the utility's not really going to be there, the smokes are worth considering. PARIVISION, they tried it, they didn't make it work. It's going to be a 5th round now for 9C.
Also keep in mind that we've seen 9Z play Inferno multiple times, most notably against Alliance, who are incredibly good on this map. And it was their T sides that struggled. They were consistently unable to really get kicked off in those maps. So the fact they're 5-1 in the lead already and making this look easy for the most part, and it's like if I'm trying not to throw too much shade towards PARIVISION here, but 9Z are kind of in cruise control. You got 9-1 and DGT. He's just popping off wherever he wants to. Luchov hasn't had a great map. We know he's very good on Inferno typically, especially on that CT side. Alarm bell's ringing for sure. Spray from Jello gets one. They now know he's up close on sandbags. Good utility, though. Luchov takes 2 nades in his pocket, and down he falls.
I think 9C really trying to press the momentum advantage that they have in going for those early fights. It backfires here, but I don't hate the idea. You must feel like PARIVISION are in a weird state. So maybe you could have caught them off guard there. Max trying. Yeah, and I don't think anyone could say that you're throwing too much shade at PARIVISION. Like, on the other hand, it would be a bit delusional to pretend like this is just fine and you know, and there aren't any issues here on Inferno. Definitely been the case so far. But this is a round that they simply must win. Like, you got the 5-on-3. You haven't really taken any significant damage. Cello maybe a little bit here. B execute is always very likely when the T's are a man or 2 down. It just is very often what people end up doing. And it's partly because, especially with this kind of a setup you see on the defensive of PARIVISION, if you could just get 1 kill on the guy playing coffins, at least you probably get a bomb plant. But now PARIVISION have actually turned it into a bit of an offense. This could be very risky. And this is the reason why Wasso Peak takes the head of Hobbit. 27 seconds. And now we're down to a 2-man defense. PARIVISION, come on. This can't be a lost round for them. 20 seconds on the clock. James is in position, but a flash on over, and he is swiped away. Deep grenade. He pushes in front of the Weiss. He would have been dead. And they're checking the back line. They know it. Wasso Peak with a headshot on Cello. 8 seconds on the clock, and the bomb goes down. PARIVISION! They should have had this every single time, but they got too adventurous. They wanted to catch them out on that top banana position, and the whole thing blows up in their face. And now it is panic time.
It is full panic station. Alarm bell ringing in the distance. Jane has to try and calm everyone. Put that resolve into play. Slaxy 0 and 5 needs to find his first kill of the map. After a weak first opportunity, he is going to be picking up 2. Huge. But DGT against a very low Jane. 1 bullet will seal the deal, and it is going to go the way of 9Z. A 5 versus 3. Why the hell is Hobbit pushing into Banana?
That is a question for the ages. We're gonna have to launch a full-on investigation, possibly get the United Nations involved to try and see if they can put down some sort of, you know, Security Council resolution to stop Hobbit from doing this. I couldn't tell you. I don't have the answers. I'm just a yapper, Vince. I'm just yapping. And I really don't know what happened.
Do you know, Anders, to me, it just absolutely reeks of desperation. You're in a 5 versus 3. You're pushing a smoke into Banana just to see where the enemy team is to try and catch them off guard. Do you have no confidence in the ability of your teammates to win a 5v3 round? Everything was in your favor. Everything you could have asked for. And you just threw it away for absolutely no reason whatsoever.
Well, 6-1 is the scoreline. That's the kind of play that it really is head-scratching. Like, we all understand the upside, sure. Like, it's unlikely that someone's going to be pushing through that smoke. So you could catch 9C with, you know, with their pants down, so to speak. That's great, but there's this risk-reward calculation that you want to be doing most of the time. And the risk is you might end up losing the 5v3. The reward is you even further secure a round that's probably like 95% won. So is that really worth like the extra 5% there to try and get a kill and get it to 100? Probably not. It left Hobbit alone on this side of the map. He's got a smoke and possibly some more utility on the ground somewhere. You got to hope that that's the case. Otherwise, with 50 seconds, 1 smoke is not that much. And then they 4-man stack the A bomb site. It's a very common setup. 4-1 splits. They want to test Hobbit again, and why not?
He's alone. Completely forever alone. That goes to show the amount of respect that James still has for Hobbit, though, to be fair. Like, trying to desperately crowbar a positive into this. You'd have understood if they said, right, screw this, we're switching it up, Hobbit, you're going to A. Someone else goes B. Spray through is decent. Wasso Peak dropped down to 1 HP, 20 seconds on the clock. It's more than enough time, considering it is a 1 versus 5 to get the bomb planted. It's going to be a save, yeah, 100%. I don't know if Hobbit will be allowed to get out of it. Nope. Luchov nails him through the smoke, so he's the sacrificial lamb one more time. And his face died for this? Seriously?
Ooh, yeah, that's another good point, isn't it? I mean, you can't take that away from PARIVISION, right? They did play an absolutely sick semi-final, but they've come into today looking different. Not quite the same attitude, not quite the same impact. And I don't know if it's PARIVISION or if it's 9C just being very well prepped and you know, having the upper hand in terms of the mental game right now. The save here on the side, I don't necessarily hate it. I know people are going to meme about it, but again, it's not an unusual pick to say, we hope that the stack works. If it doesn't, then, you know, what can we do? But given where the game is at the moment here, we're talking about the first half of Inferno here. T-sides can be good, but a 7-1 lead is still really overpowering, yeah. Looking a little bit dejected is Hobbit.
Understandably, it's been a real rough map for him thus far, hasn't it? It's not been all his fault. I mean, he's not helped himself much, but it's been a collective failure, I think it's safe to say, for PARIVISION. And we kind of expected it. We did talk about Inferno not being a good map for PARIVISION recently. We didn't know if Hobbit and Slaxy Jez was going to be the injection of success that they so desperately required on this map, but we did expect this would go the way of 9Z. I didn't expect it to be this one-sided, though. I'll be real. I thought we'd see more of a fight. Oh, there you go.
Okay. Like to see that. Luchov, though. He is going to be playing Banana when they switch to the CT side, and he is one of the best Banana players in the world right now. So, scary to consider, given how PARIVISION are doing at the moment. But yeah, the double nade back there. Nice little gift. Max out of the round. Yeah, Max is IGLing here. I mean, it's been great, must say. Cello goes down. It's Wasso Peak beating the timing. He just put down the smoke there to try and hold them back. The bomb is further back. It's a bit weird. They have the bomb site, but not the bomb.
Yep, going to be retrieving that now. However, that smoke on CT is going to start to fade. They do have extra surplus utility, though, to deal with that problem. Wolf's been right in front of Zway's face. I mean, I'll get into that point as well, where PARIVISION, like, I understand you want to save. I understand it's the percentage play. You're running out of rounds. At some point, you're going to have to start to try and use something. Because if you go through to this next half, like 10-2, 11-1 down, it's basically over.
It does feel that way, doesn't it? Like, yeah, you're going to have the economy. You're just not going to have any rounds. I love the fact as well that they're so chilled out, 9C, that getting the bomb site and then having to spend like 15 seconds running back to pick up the bomb, they just have enough utility to just redeploy all the smokes and just do it again. Like, then there's no stress, there's no pressure. That, in a different world, that could have been a round where actually forgetting the bomb back there could cost you something, you know, a lot more. The CTs get into position, like everyone's rotated over, they're ready to catch you as you're jumping across or shooting through the smoke or any number of things. But none of that was happening. We got some fans. I saw, yeah, Mayan's shirt there as well. Wasso Peak, possibly family or something related. But regardless, they've got support. And they've got their the owner down in front, which is pretty cool as well. And they must be happy right now. 8-1 in favor of 9C. Second map of the grand finals here. Hasn't been much to talk about on the PARIVISION side. I mean, yeah, it is fun to see Max kind of put together these rounds. His calling, I think, has been amazing. DGT's rifling has been, I would say, serviceable. He's at 11-1, Vince.
Yeah, he's having a great game, isn't he? Had a lot of big rounds as well over on Mirage. After a pretty lackluster event overall by his very high standards. Has to be mentioned, I think I said this yesterday, he's like 0.15 below his average over the last 6 months at this event. So this is one hell of a time for him to show us truly what he is capable of doing. And we've been focusing a lot on the negatives of PARIVISION, and I think that's fair. You know, we've got to give criticism where we see it. I do want to shine a lot of praise on 9Z, though, because I have my doubts if they would be able to mentally withstand this grand finals. Again, their run in playoffs has been pretty poor up until this event. But credit to them, they look so comfortable. They look like they've done this many, many times over.
look at the call as well. They've bullied them on B so much that now PARIVISION put 3 people at the B bomb site. And, oh wait, are they going to turn it into a split? They might turn it into a B split. I was going to say they might hit the A bomb site because it looked like it, but this feels more like it could be splitting through CT spawn with 30 seconds left. Jame, really great timing on the shot on Wasso Peak, but are PARIVISION ready? This can be a hard strat to stop on the CT side because you have to do so many calls to figure out where the T's are actually coming from. 20 seconds on the clock. Smoke going down again, and Slaxy, that spray should seal the deal. The bomb is on the wrong side of the smoke. Luchov, strong headshot on Hobbit, but again, 10 seconds. The bomb is making its way down, and Mayan, he had no chance to clear every corner. It's a really elaborate strategy, and even though this is now a 2-on-4 and the round is over, I want to say 9C could have won this round in a number of different ways, so pretty scary nonetheless.
Trying to overcomplicate it, perhaps, to a degree.
Yeah, maybe, but you know what? I'm not gonna. I feel like Max he's been doing great work here. But you're probably right. Like this, one of those moments where the strat does become a little bit elaborate. If they would have gone straight back to A, that would have been he would have been in their mind. If they stack B and then he hits the other bomb site, that would have been fun to see.
That was a good shot landed from James as well, though. That definitely helped matters. So I'd give a bit of credit across to PARIVISION. James gets aggressive. There's a smoke down there, and he's going to have to back away. I do definitely resonate with your point, though, that because they've conditioned and constantly hammered and peppered over on the B side, you're seeing early presence again. 3 players strong on B. They do not have confidence on this whatsoever, and now they're going to be making moves from middle.
And they're doing it so fast here. Again, hitting that short side like we've been discussing quite a bit. Jame, though, with the flick, he is alone. Smoke is going off towards library, which I don't think anyone knows in CT spawn. There's already someone here. Yeah, they're running with the knives out. That's because of that library smoke. Nobody saw that coming. Slaxy and Hobbit, 2 versus 2. As Slaxy gets a kill, Hobbit waiting for his teammate to get there. The bomb is much delayed once again. But it feels like that's just how 9C like to roll at the moment. They're not in a hurry to get the bombs planted. They want to make sure they can clear out the bomb site first. Molotov to make sure no one can push in. And they will punch in the digits here. PARIVISION absolutely must win the last couple of rounds. And they actually step into the flames. They must hear that on the bomb.